Tonight, Junior Achievement presents the 2023 Business Hall of Fame Awards. From New Haven all the way up Route 91 to the state capital of Hartford, we'll shine the spotlight on extraordinary community and business leaders that continue to leave their mark. It's a JA celebration of Connecticut's finest, honoring Eric Clemens, Bob Cox, Alice Forrester, Rona Free, Joe Gianni, Coraine Moody, and hosted by Brian Shackman. Now, your Junior Achievement 2023 Business Hall of Fame Awards.
Well, we are excited to be here. We are excited to be back in person. So thank you all for being back in person. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. I want to introduce a very special guest who has joined us tonight, and that's Senator Richard Blumenthal to my right. Senator Blumenthal has been a big supporter of Junior Achievement for many years, and when we got the call that he was interested in stopping by our event, we said, absolutely, please join us. So Senator, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you to Jeremy and all of the staff of Junior Achievement. Thank you so much for all you do. Big round of applause for all the staff, the volunteers, the board. I am in awe. I am so admiring of what Junior Achievement does. I've seen it up close, personal. There's nothing junior about what Junior Achievement does for people in transforming their lives. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for supporting this wonderful organization. About the honorees, going through what they have done, their impact on individual lives, their changing people's lives for the better, is such a model for all of us. And the same could be true of many, many others in this room. I'm sure that more than one of them will say that there are many others in the room equally deserving. And I don't want to usurp that line, but it's true. Thank you to all of you, not only for supporting this organization, but taking it as a model. Leadership by example. Leadership by example in a time, at least in my world, and I think in many of yours, what happens in public often is very discouraging and dispiriting. This kind of gathering gives me hope and inspiration. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage, Brian Shackman.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brian Shackman. I'm the morning host at WTIC News Talk 1080. I took over for Ray Dunaway about a year plus ago. And I actually did the event last year with Don, and we'll talk about Don in a minute. Don doesn't return my calls anymore because he's the CEO now, but that's okay. Listen, I'm really happy to be here, and if I sound a little drunk, I'm not. I stayed up last night to watch the whole game. I know. It was awesome. But you don't have a 4 a.m. wake-up call, so I'm a little tipsy, although I wouldn't blow it on the breathalyzer. But in all seriousness, I'm excited to be the Master of Ceremonies here. Obviously, bringing Hartford and New Haven together is a really big deal. We have 400 people here and so many more people watching from wherever they are, and it just shows you how great an organization this is here with Junior Achievement. But I will say, being here at the Marriott, there is a little missing piece, and I have a backstory here. And sorry for the cameras, I'm a fidgeter and a mover, so you're gonna have to deal with it a little bit. One piece that's kind of missing, at least in my estimation, I remember, I came here with Lou back in the day, and Mark Hoffman, who was my first boss in Hartford at the NBC 30, and it was well before I went to CNBC, and I watched Bill Griffith do his thing. And he showed me what it means to be a broadcaster and an MC because he was just amazing at what he does. And he had such a great role with Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame, but he lives in New Jersey. He's retired now, so I don't think we're going to see him, though I think he might have a special message for us tonight.
Brian, thank you, and good evening, everybody. You know, it's hard to believe it's been almost 20 years since I emceed my first Hall of Fame dinner, 2004. What great memories through the years. I've made so many friends. Margaret and Roger, of course, Howard and Sue, Lou Golden and Mary Jane, Don, Alan, and now, of course, Jeremy. And every year I was always inspired by the stories of the Hall of Fame inductees and their great success stories, overcoming adversity, their entrepreneurial spirit, and their great success. What inspiration. But most of all, I remember the kids, their speeches, their performances, and those older students who came back to tell us what an impact Junior Achievement had on their lives. And let's face it, that's why we get involved in Junior Achievement, because it's such a great organization that has such a great impact on all of these students. And I couldn't be more proud to have played just a tiny little part in such a great organization. But now in retirement, it's time to move on. Brian, you're gonna love this group. And folks, you're gonna love Brian. Back to you, my friend.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I almost get a little emotional because Bill was such a mentor to me. I didn't work at the Wall Street Journal or Goldman Sachs, and I had to learn a lot about the business world, and Bill was just very, very kind. And the one thing I will say, you know, Mark Hoffman, I think, brought him to Lou, Jeremy. I mean, that's got to be right. And long after Mark Hoffman went to CNBC, Bill kept coming back. And his life is in New York and New Jersey, and I think that's a testament both to Bill and to the group that we have here. You know, we're coming from all across the state for a particular reason. We're going to celebrate and honor 6 individuals who've made tremendous impacts on their communities and the region. And of course, all funds raised tonight help JA advance its mission to empower young people to own their economic success by providing JA curriculum and programming to students at no cost. In order for that to be a possibility, JA hosts events such as tonight's 44th Annual Business Hall of Fame, and that would not be possible without the generous support for our sponsors. So be prepared to clap a little bit in the next few minutes because we have a lot of important groups that contribute so much to Junior Achievement. And obviously, you'll see the logos come up, and just join me first in thanking our presenting sponsor. That would be Hartford Steam Boiler. And our dinner sponsor is Stanley Black & Decker. You know, we talked about Don Ellen a little bit. Where's the table? Is it over? I guess it's over there. I can't see in the bright lights. But obviously, he's now the CEO of Stanley Black & Decker. He's a JA board member, longtime Hall of Fame committee chair. Obviously not with us tonight. He's traveling on business, but sends his regards. He's proud to have a table of his Stanley colleagues on hand tonight. So thank you for being here, everyone with Stanley. We also want to thank our reception sponsor, Bank of America, and our diamond sponsors, Empower, Travelers, and Webster Bank. Now, just the program that you have on your seat, hopefully you're not sitting on it, but if you are, it's underneath your butt. That has a list of a whole bunch of other sponsors, so take a look. We have platinum sponsors, Eversource Energy, The Hartford, HCL Americas, JP Morgan Chase, Carl Krapek, LTI, Prime Materials Recovery, and our gold sponsors, Barnes Group, RSM. And finally, silver sponsors, Ed Budd Family Fund, Carmody Torrance, Sandak and Hennessy, Connecticut Public, Halloran Sage, Hartford Healthcare, Hoffman Auto Group, KPMG, Liberty Bank, PwC, Snowden Lane Partners, Voya, and Yale University. Thank you. I know there's a lot of friends of Junior Achievement, but obviously all of the groups contribute so much. But take a look through the program. You know, there's our bronze sponsors, student, patron, as well as all the supporters who purchased tickets to tonight's event. So take a look at that. We don't want to go any further without giving a special shout out to the Hartford and New Haven Hall of Fame committees. Their leadership and support has been invaluable. We'd like all the committee members to stand up and recognize your efforts on behalf of young people all across the state. Please stand up. Everyone on the committees, please. I know it's embarrassing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Where's Greg Barretts? Where's Greg? Greg's right there. Yeah, you can make your way up. President CEO of Hartford Steam Boiler. He's a member of the Hartford Business Hall of Fame Dinner Committee, presenting sponsor of this year's event. We'd like to have Greg come up and say a few words. It's worth noting he's also a laureate in the JA Business Hall of Fame. So, of course, congratulations to Greg, and thank you and your company for all your support.
All right, thank you, Brian. I mean, 400 strong, that's amazing, impressive. I mean, it's been a while since I've been with this many people since the pandemic, and I promised I wouldn't say that word, and I'll probably say it again before the night's over. But anyway, first of all, I'm very proud to be here, to have the opportunity to thank all of you to take the time to come here. Congratulate our honorees. Also thank our sponsors to help make this such a successful evening. And also, I'd like to extend a little bit where Brian was going. I'd like to extend to our fundraising committee in the Hartford and New Haven for their time and efforts, and a big part of what we're here for today. Our board members who volunteer on selfish hours that they put in here to continue to keep JA to be extremely successful. At the end of the day, somebody's got to pull this all off. They've got to pull this all together and make this happen, and that's the JA team, and not only this event, but dozens of other events that they do after around the state. So let's get to the punchline. So donations, how do we do? 265,000, 265,000. Fantastic. And I think everybody, it's important to know that 100% of these dollars go to the programs, for our kids. And so, what are these programs? And Brian was touching on them a little bit. These are programs that aren't normally taught in our schools. Financial literacy, entrepreneurship, job interviewing, resumes, career opportunities. These are all incredibly valuable aspects of our children and young adults to learn. So here I am. I'll mention the word again, pandemic. Hey, listen, this was a tough go for everybody. It bent the knees of even the strongest companies. But I can tell you the junior achievement team had to pivot. They had to respond. I mean, they're an in-person business. And so in doing so, they created an online service. At the peak of the pandemic, they extended over 16,000 curriculum courses to students. And here in 2023, they're going to match or exceed 30,000, including InFace. I think that's absolutely incredible. So JA also, what they do really well is that they meet the leaders, the volunteers, the educators, the students, in the place where they work. Give flexible programs, such that we can make this, as easy as possible to be successful. So, what is HSB's story, right? So the junior achievement here in the Hartford area has been around since 1951. We've been involved for over 50 years. To tell the truth, we can't really count. We don't know the exact number. It's been a long time. We have over dozens of our employees every year going to the Britain middle schools to teach the programs that I was talking about. And I can tell you, as enriching it is for our kids, I can tell you our employees are getting as much out of it as they are. The power of giving is amazing. We're also in discussion with Junior Achievement about bringing high school students into our headquarters and teaching them, to understand insurance, technology, engineering, all the areas that we work in, including innovation. And this is our continued commitment to this program. So that being said, our few words of being proud, HSB, we're providing our time, our talent, and our treasure to this program. It's worth it. And for those of you, there's many in this room that do the same, and maybe even a lot more than we do, but those of you that are dabbling in it or thinking about it, please dive in. We need your time, your effort. This is an incredibly valuable resource for our communities and to develop our kids for the workforce of the future. So with that being said, again, congratulations to our nominees. Thank you to our sponsors, and enjoy the evening.
By the way, as a Reformed TV guy, Greg's got some good hair. He's got some really, really good hair. I just had to say that. I admire a good head of hair. Listen, we appreciate it. I won't make it a segue, Jeremy, I promise. It was not on purpose. Listen, obviously the mission of JA matters, and there's nobody in this room who knows that more than Jeremy Race. Obviously, you know him as the president and CEO of Junior Achievement of Southwest New England. He's been making a difference with JA for over 20 years. He's done so many of these events. And I'll just say that reconnecting with Jeremy since I came back to Connecticut and helped out with the event last year, I just know him to be a calm, confident, and humble leader who does a great job. So Jeremy is going to come up, say a few words.
Notice Brian didn't say anything about my hair. I thought we were friends. Anyway, listen, tonight we're especially excited, as Brian mentioned, to have our friends from all over the state, from New Haven and Hartford and other parts of the state, under one roof to celebrate some incredible honorees that I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the past 6 months. Some I've known, I think I've known Joe for probably 20 years, but it's just been wonderful to get to know their stories, which you're going to hear about momentarily. You know, because all of these leaders have a few things in common. They all powerfully demonstrate what it means to be a leader, what it means to be successful, and what it means to give back to the community. These are all values that Junior Achievement hold dearly, all values that we aim to instill in the students like Dave, who's sitting at my table, and you'll hear from Dave in a few minutes. We're trying to inspire the next generation of leaders. Now, first, I want to thank our longtime friend, Bill Griffith, who joined us with a special video message earlier. You know, for those of you who have been to this event for nearly 20 years, Bill drove himself from New Jersey to Hartford. He would finish the event. Mary Jane would give him a box, whether it had chicken or steak in it, and he would, eat it on the way home. Hopefully not when he was driving. But that's a commitment that Bill had. And he still comes up occasionally and even golfs in our golf tournament. So it's a true friendship that we have with Bill, and we really appreciate it. And I think just all of us, one last time, let's give Bill a round of applause and thank him. But as they say, when one door closes, one door opens. And I'm so happy that Brian Shackman walked through that door. Isn't he doing a great job already? And I appreciate your kind words. Brian, also a humble guy, but he's had an incredible TV career. Yes, he's on the radio now, and he's dabbling back in TV a little bit, but, folks, he's an incredible TV journalist. He had stints at ESPN, NBC 30, CNBC, MSNBC, to name a few. And if I'm not mistaken, if I read your Wikipedia right, a few Emmy nominations in there, I think? But no wins. No wins. All right, well, we'll change that. But in all seriousness, Brian, we're truly appreciative that you chose to be with us this year. And folks, if you're nice to him, hopefully he'll come back next year. See how that works? All right, so be nice to Brian. Listen, the Business Hall of Fame is one of the highlights of our year. We're given an opportunity to tell the stories of some incredible men and women who just strive for greatness and show us every day and inspire our young students what they can be when they grow up. They've built businesses. They've created noteworthy change in Connecticut's business landscape. They've helped elevate people around them to be better employees and stronger contributors to society. And speaking of building businesses, I know it's a little crowded out there in the foyer, but I hope you had a chance to meet some of our other amazing JA students who I think are here somewhere. Have you more JA students somewhere here? Raise your hands if you're here. There we are. Okay, there we go. So some of these students are part of one of our flagship programs called the Entrepreneurial Academy we're very lucky to have sponsored by the Hartford, Stanley Black & Decker, and Pratt & Whitney. And these students literally for an entire semester form a real business and sell real product. They run a real company. They actually have board meetings. They elect officers. and they were selling their products. And hopefully some of you had a chance to at least meet them. Maybe some of you even bought their products, which I'm sure they appreciate. And as Brian and both Greg mentioned, they represent the roughly 30,000 plus students we will serve this school year. We're teaching about careers. We're teaching them about financial literacy, responsibility. We're teaching them how to start businesses. We're giving them a powerful look into what their futures might look like. Now, Brian may have mentioned the word transformation in my introduction, and I believe there's going to be a slide that pops up here. On the slides behind me, what I want to show you is this is why we're in business, right? Those of you who may know Junior Achievement, I've been around for a long time, but we finally have the courage to show you this slide, to show you that this is what we're working to accomplish. That's powerful, it's meaningful, and it aligns perfectly with our strategic priority, which is a decision we made a couple years ago during a pandemic that we no longer want to just focus on number of students served, right? That's a really powerful measure. A lot of us use that in our businesses, right? How many students do you serve? How many widgets did you sell? That's important. But we wanted to strategically shift a little bit and say, what if we made impact and outcomes our number one priority? What would that do to our organization? What if we made solving real societal issues our number one priority? What if we did more listening than talking? How would that transform our organization? And I'm proud to stand before you tonight, and I guess since we haven't done this in a few years, publicly for the first time, say that it's paying dividends. And here's what I mean. For just a few examples, for the past 2 years, for example, consecutive years, and for the first time in more than 3 decades, we're now serving and running programs for more middle and high school kids than elementary school kids. The reason is because we're listening to schools. And they're telling us that age group of students throughout the pandemic, well, the learning loss, the challenges they've had, they need our help more than ever. So we're listening, and we're stepping up to the plate, and we're reaching more middle and high school students than ever before, preparing them for the futures. We are now in discussions with public and private colleges throughout Connecticut and universities. And we'll hopefully be able to announce pretty soon that next year, for the first time ever, in one of the first states in the country, these colleges and universities will be offering our high school students college credit for taking some of JA's semester-long programs. And I want to give special thanks to Albertus Magnus College, University of Hartford, and University of St. Joseph's, who have already told us, hands down, your curriculum is that good, it's that meaningful, it aligns with ours, your kids will get college credit if they attend our college and university. So again, thank you so much. We're now in discussions with community leaders and business leaders about the possibility of building a JA BizTown or JA Finance Park facility in Hartford, a real building. Never been in Connecticut before. About 20 or so other states have a similar program in the US. This is a financial literacy program that would see kids getting 12 weeks of financial literacy lessons, followed by a 5-hour field trip to our JA building, where that would prove to be their true capstone experience. I've seen these programs in action. They're absolutely life-changing. And to tell you how serious we are about this, we're about to launch a feasibility study to find out if we could raise the $15 million we would need to run this program. So fingers crossed, but it's going to be completely life-changing for students in this region. We're also in discussions now with several school districts about launching a JA high school, folks. Again, never had one in Connecticut, ever. They're starting to pop up around the country. There's a program called 3DE. Why? Because we're listening to school leaders, business leaders, and they're telling us that a program like 3DE can drastically increase graduation rates, college attainment rates, work readiness rates, and better prepare our kids. And this is important. JA stands for this. Preparing our students for both college or the world of work, okay? Both are viable opportunities for our students. Lastly, and I made sure to mention this to Senator Blumenthal before he left, we're in discussions now with the federal government, the Department of Defense, about a possible program that will launch in Eastern Connecticut aimed at significantly helping them build a talent pipeline for the submarine supply chain and submarine workforce that is drastically needed in this state. Why do we think we can do this? You may have seen some of the banners that across the rooms earlier. We know that 51% of JA students will go into the career or industry of their JA volunteer. Let that soak in for a minute. That's why we can talk to Electric Boat and the federal government and say we can help. We can inspire thousands of young people, by the way, as young as kindergarten, about the excitement and opportunities of those careers. And because JA has a proven track record of scaling such major workforce initiatives. So again, this is just a small sample of what we've been doing and what we've been working on in both Hartford and New Haven communities. As you can imagine, this work will not be easy, but nothing important ever is. And we will certainly need your help, and I hope we can count on you and call on you as we get deeper into these programs. But this is the transformation of JA. We're now linking college credit to JA curriculum, providing potential JA BizTown Finance Park experience for students, potentially offering a JA high school opportunity, and delivering programs that are truly dedicated to developing the talent pipeline for our region's most in-demand needs and meeting those needs. That is where we will get to the impact and outcomes that we are striving for. So, before I turn the podium back to Brian, one of my jobs is also make sure I thank a lot of special people here tonight, because there's a lot of folks in this room who have helped, what I'd say, pave the way for us to be where we are right now, to be on the brink of that transformation that we're striving for. We could not be thinking about and doing the things we're doing if they hadn't blazed those trails, in prior decades. So as I call your name, I would ask you to stand so that we can recognize you, and hopefully all these folks are still here. So, past Hall of Fame laureates, if you are here: Greg Baratz, Tom Barnes, Rich Caparasso, Jerry Franklin, Carlton Highsmith, Jeff L. Hubbard, Hugh Mankey, Paul McCraven, Yvette Melendez, David Newton, Susan Rotner, Connie Weaver, and Diane Wisnowski. Incredible. Give them another round of applause. We also have here last year's Entrepreneur Award, David Light. David, please stand and be recognized. And you'll hear from David in a few minutes as well. We have a few past Spirit of Hope Award winners, and they are here, I believe: Kim Healy, Paulette Fox, Don Shaw, Alexis Smith, and Tom Trumbull. And last but certainly not least, and she deserves recognition, we have our past community leadership honoree, my dear friend Margaret Lawson. Just so everyone knows how special Margaret Lawson is to JA. Folks, just to give you a little history, I was a history major in college. Margaret literally created this event 45 years ago, okay? She's been a loyal board member for close to 5 decades with Junior Achievement. Margaret, we're so pleased you can join us tonight. Thank you for everything. We absolutely love you. Thank you, Margaret. And last but not least, just special thanks. We have, who was here earlier, one of our new board members, State Rep Steve Weir, who was here earlier. And special thanks to Senator Blumenthal again, who joined us this evening. And one more surprise: in approximately maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, Mayor Luke Broner will be joining us for a few remarks as well. So, guys, have fun, enjoy the evening, and as Greg mentioned earlier, thank you so much. We can't do the work that we're doing without you. Truly appreciate it. Thank you.
By the way, Jeremy, everything you said is vitally important, and the cause is vitally important, but if we don't finish on time, it's your fault. Just want that out of the way. Number two is when I had lunch with Jeremy a while back to sort of set this up, and we're just talking over lunch, and I said, well, why don't have some of the students come to the radio station? I'll show them around or whatever. And like an hour after lunch, I get an email from someone in the office. My first reaction was, he thought I was serious. My second reaction was, who wants to go into radio? It's like, I don't know, it's like working at the Model T factory, I guess, at this point. But no offense to our demographic, we love you. But my third reaction was, I'm just excited to get that opportunity to interact with students and show them my world, and who knows what idea it will spark. And there's a million different avenues you can go in communications, and I don't get that opportunity anymore. So and it's happening this month. And I'm just really excited to do it. So that just shows you, I think, Jeremy's dedication, and he's aggressive about it, and it should be lauded. Obviously, tonight we're here for a reason, and we're very excited to induct 3 laureates and present a Community Leadership Award, as well as 2 Spirit of Hope Awards. We recognize our honorees for their achievements and thank them for setting a powerful example for the leaders of tomorrow. This year we have some of last year's honorees joining us as we celebrate 6 new individuals that have had a profound impact on the greater Hartford and New Haven communities and beyond, and they're so impressive. Joining us this evening, 2 women who've devoted their entire lives in being a shining light within their communities, one might say a spirit of hope. I want to welcome last year's Spirit of Hope Award honorees Paulette Fox, Executive Director of OIC New Britain, and Alexis Smith, Executive Director, New Haven Legal Assistance Association.
When you get my age, you got to put your glasses on. The Spirit of Hope Award seeks to recognize individuals who have exhibited a deep sense of commitment to providing hope for the futures of others in the community. I am so proud of the work OIC has been doing in New Britain's community for more than a half century. Just like JA, we too are changing lives and changing the trajectories of many in the community. I was so honored to be selected last year as JA Spirit of Hope. It was like the Academy's Award. Alongside the very inspiring Alexis Smith, her advocacy and demonstrated support through the New Haven Legal Assistance Association makes tangible differences in our community every day.
I thought the same thing, Paulette. What an honor to be recognized alongside such an impactful leader in Connecticut. Like you and JA, the work we do at New Haven Legal Assistance Association makes a real difference. This year's Spirit of Hope Award honorees are outstanding members of their communities, making real differences in the lives of their neighbors every single day. We are so grateful to have dedicated support for housing, financial well-being, and mental health in our region. Both women being recognized tonight are incredible in their purpose and drive to make the lives of their constituents better, to give them hope and encourage them to be greater than their current situation. Without further ado, our first awardee of the evening, Corinne Moody.
There is no better person that Junior Achievement could look at than a Corinne Moody. I like to say, as it goes from the Bible, where there is no vision, the people perish. Always looking for new opportunities to build habitat. That is that vision that she has. She has brought to this community numerous homes. Corinne went to Trinity College, but she also talks about the fact that she benefited being at Trinity by support that she received. Coming to Habitat for her was not to make money. This is her give back. She does it with so much joy. Putting young people on the right path for financial freedom is very important. When your parents understand what financial freedom is, there could be no greater impact for junior achievement than having children who come from that environment. They have that background. The fact that it is not just the individual growth, development, upward mobility, but also the difference a Habitat Home makes to a community. I think junior achievement would benefit greatly from having somebody like her in their organization. In Jamaica, we have this saying, you're little, but you're talawa. So even though she's a small person, the magnitude of her impact outweighs greatly her size. Don't look at her like this is a little woman. She has power that you can't imagine.
And we'll have Corinne come up in just a minute. You know, when Hartford Business Journal identified the best places to work in Connecticut, it came as no surprise to anyone who knows the caliber of Corinne Moody's leadership that Habitat for Humanity North Central Connecticut placed prominently on that list. HBJ said this about the organization's culture, and I quote, "Respectful atmosphere where coworkers value each other's contribution, and leadership that, quote, encourages skill building. Corinne is driven to help people and does so with respect. She's modest and genuine, a person of deep faith, always on the go because there's always more to do. She believes in the mission of Habitat and lives it every single day. Corinne relishes working closely with families and neighborhoods, earns their trust, and establishes relationships that flourish. From day one, her plans leading Habitat were not timid or tentative. In fact, they were as big as the entire Tolland County. Her vision was clear from the outset, and as someone said of one of her presentations, she blew them away. We need to tell more people who we are, she explained, to be partners at the table, to demonstrate that we have something to contribute, and that is precisely what the team Habitat has done with impressive results. Corinne Moody believes in home ownership and in people. She never lets what she's already done stop her from doing more. For Corinne, team building is second nature, and when you're constructing houses that change lives and families and neighborhoods, building is what it's all about. So when you marvel at the growth and impact of this organization, you can rest assured that there's more to come, and we'll all be the better for it. It is with pleasure and pride that Junior Achievement of Southwest New England honors Corinne Moody with the Spirit of Hope Award.
Oh, Lord. Good evening. I'd like to acknowledge Jeremy and the Junior Achievement family for this honor. I'd like to acknowledge the fellow honorees. Congratulations. To my Habitat family, I couldn't be standing here without your support, your teamwork, your love. To my godfather, Don Shaw, I love you, Don. To my family, you are the village that raised a child that became a woman, a wife, a mother, a sister, a niece, and a leader. If I can share one nugget, it would be this. It would be my favorite scripture. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So today, tonight, we're all here, and we're doing that work, and we're sowing into the lives of young people. And I challenge you, I motivate you, I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, because you're making a difference in the lives of the youth of Junior Achievement. And this is what the world needs. It needs for people like us, people like everyone, to give their time, their talent, and their treasure. Amen?
Yeah, you got to pause for the picture. I know you're trying to be humble, but you pause for that picture. I mean, what an amazing speech. Really. You can see why she does the work she does. And obviously, for you and your whole community, thank you so much. And now we want to move on to our next Spirit of Hope honoree, Alice Forrester.
At the center of Alice's heart is our young people. Everything she does, her entire life, she has dedicated to making sure that young people are set up for success. And as a psychologist, one way that she does that is by mental health. Alice reminds us that we're not just providing mental health services for our families and our young people, that we're changing their lives. And understanding that becomes so inspiring, and it helps you see it from a much larger perspective. Alice sees it as the opportunity to change your life, to change the world, and she brings you into that circle, which is an extraordinary characteristic for a leader. One of the things that is amazing about Alice as a leader is that she doesn't only talk the talk, but she walks the walk. 10 years ago, we suffered a tragedy in our state where we lost first graders to a shooter. Alice was called to give the death notifications to the families. If you can imagine what that must have been like. And she did it. And she kept in touch with the families. And she made promises and followed through. And that is what Alice does. Not only does she support you, but she walks with you through journeys.
If you ask someone who knows Alice Forrester well to describe her in one word, the word that you hear most often is exceptional. As CEO of Clifford Beers Community Health Partners, she's impactful and effective, a remarkable visionary leader, and a person who sees ahead of the curve time and time again. She derives energy from doing good work, a leader that people turn to in the toughest of circumstances, knowing that when Alice is contributing her expertise and guidance, the result will be as good as it possibly can be. Clifford Beers has a well-earned national reputation in the delivery of mental health services, and it goes back generations. Alice Forrester has built on that foundation, sustained and advanced that status, and reached new and impressive heights. Widely recognized and frequently acclaimed for developing and implementing innovative models of care to help chronically stressed families address the complexities surrounding physical, mental, and social well-being. And she realized early on that wraparound services, uncommon and underappreciated at the time, were essential to their work. Alice inspires confidence, exudes credibility, has an instinctive way of connecting with people that is persuasive and inspiring, and always has a well-informed perspective that makes a difference in individual lives and the lives of families and communities. She's the person in this field that Connecticut turns to, and for good reason. Her leadership, the phenomenal organizations she's skillfully grown and developed, have helped nonprofit organizations pursue their missions effectively. And they have helped so many of our neighbors, our colleagues, our friends, our family, all of them to live healthier and better lives. It is truly a privilege for Junior Achievement of Southwest New England to honor Alice Forrester with the Spirit of Hope Award.
Thank you very much. I was like, she sounds great. I'd love to know her. Thank you to my crew who's here, and thank you so much to Junior Achievement for this really extraordinary honor. I'm so grateful. I'm really honored to be recognized by an organization that also strives to change children's lives every day. And I'm so excited to hear of all of the new things that you're doing. I have lots of things going on in my head about what you could be doing, like a community college Junior Achievement too. So I think that's great. So I'm I'm on a timer, but I'm not going to pay attention to it because I'm already over. So when I was young, see, I always wanted someone to tell me the facts of life. No, not those facts of life. And I told my table to laugh at that, and they didn't. No, but what I wanted to know is what it took to grow up, what it meant to be an adult, what did it mean to be in this world? What were the secrets of happiness? I firmly believed that the adults around me knew these facts of life, but they refused to share them with the children. Well, I guess when I grew up, I realized that they didn't. I was wrong. No adult had ever really neatly lined up the facts of life for me, ready to spill them out and tell them to me what I was going to do. I realized that we're all trying to do our best. But I do have two thoughts that I thought I would share to the JA students here and in the community. I think that there are two key fulfilling events that you have in childhood or in adulthood. Really feeling connected and also working with purpose. I believe these two concepts are facts of life I would share if a kid asked me, but they're not going to ask me because maybe I'll have to make a TikTok about it. Connection means you're not feeling alone. For good mental health, it sometimes is the difference between life and death. For me, especially at Clifford Beers, it is the glue that has allowed me to stay there, create new programs, and build partnership with other nonprofits. Collaboration, trust, honest communication, and creativity are some of the factors that make a successful, connected company. My colleagues from Clifford Beers Community Health Partners, our board, Tom Sansone, and friends are here tonight, and I'm forever, ever grateful for our connection. Purpose is something that I believe many of us share tonight. Now, Senator Blumenthal stole that line for me. Doing work that's meaningful, that gives us a reason to get up in the morning, the optimism to make the world a better place. Work means something more than just helping yourself. It has impact on others. Meaningful or purposeful work does not always have to be easy. It can be challenging and difficult and very personal. Purpose, meaningfulness is often spotlighted for a person when they're recognized. Tonight, your recognition of our work at Clifford Beers gives me deep gratitude. It gives me gratitude for the collegial work that we do together, for the communities we serve, for junior achievement, and for your vision and your work. I'm moved by this recognition and appreciate this moment of meaning and feeling connected and purposeful. To you, thank you very much.
You know, it's dramatic for me just to listen, you know, whether it's Corinne and her spirituality and her goodness and her selflessness, or honestly, it's emotional, Alice. The empathy along with humor goes a long way. It must have a dramatic impact on the kids that you serve. So thank you so much. Again, one more round of applause for both of those women. And they're both certainly a source of light, and I'll keep the pun that's in the text, and we have another source of light speaking to us next. That would be David Light, co-founder and CEO of Valashore, and last year's JA Entrepreneur Award honoree.
Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate the pun on my name. I hear them sometimes. I'm often referred to as D-Light, or D-Light, David Light. I have 5 kids, so I've earned the right to have dad jokes. But it was really a great honor to receive the JA's Entrepreneur Award last year. I share Paulette and Alexis's sentiments that what we are doing really matters. And at my company, ValAssure, we are committed to leveraging science to ensure the safety and efficacy of drug and consumer products that many of us are using daily. And it's gratifying to know that organizations like JA not only recognize business leaders like us for our contributions, but most importantly, that JA is inspiring the next generation of scientists, entrepreneurs, and community leaders. And speaking of community leaders, there are not many in Connecticut who can rival the community contributions of our next honoree, who needs no pun, Eric Clemens.
It's rare that you encounter someone with the authenticity of Eric Clemens. One of the most compassionate, empathetic, insightful men I've ever met. You can tell it in the stories he tells about his childhood, the challenges he overcame. He is a man deeply committed to fighting for fairness and equity for all. There are parallels to the work that CONCAT does and the mission of Junior Achievement. We actually have Eric help us establish our own Entrepreneurship Academy, where we're exposing middle school kids, high school kids, giving kids the option of entrepreneurship as opposed to other professions. So the missions are very much aligned with what Junior Achievement does and what CONCAT does. Eric is a rare individual who is a fosterer of followership. I've seen him in environments that are foreign or strange and alien to him, adapt. He's grown into one of the most polished, accomplished leaders of, I don't want to say just nonprofit agencies, of any agency or organization Eric could lead. Eric is to be commended for being one of the most incredibly dedicated and committed fathers that I've encountered. Eric, unfortunately, lost his wife at the end of 2020. I am so incredibly proud of him with how he has bounced back, remained a constant in the lives of his 4 daughters, his grandchildren. He is one of my all-time heroes.
As you could hear in that segment, Eric Clemens leads with his heart. He sees what people can become if only given the opportunity. So he gets to work, leading the way, creating those opportunities. He takes off on the road less traveled because he has the creativity, confidence, and wisdom to see what's possible, unencumbered by current circumstances. He's that rare but cherished combination of a true visionary who is equally skilled at executing plans and delivering profound and meaningful results. He has a sense of urgency because he cares that much. He goes where obstacles are all around and navigates a way through them. He's genuine, the same person in every setting, bringing issues that matter to the top of the agenda. Whether it's at the barbershop or in the boardroom, Eric is comfortable and people are equally comfortable with him. Someone once asked in the midst of his presentation for yet another ambitious initiative, quote, "What if you're not successful?" His response, quote, "I can't guarantee that it will be successful, but shame on all of us if we do not try," end quote. Eric has been described as hands down the best leader I've ever seen, and every year that goes by, with every endeavor he undertakes, he demonstrates the accuracy of that assessment. He creates hope in places where it just simply does not exist. He draws his strength from his faith. He's resourceful, resolute, unwavering, and kind beyond words. Eric has experienced, as you saw, some great challenges in his life, yet he steadfastly moves forward, deepens his resolve to impact people in enduring ways. You don't have to look far in the city of New Haven to see things that never were and would not exist today if not for Eric's leadership. Junior Achievement of Southwest New England is privileged to present Eric Clemens with this year's Community Leadership Award.
Good evening. So they are serious about this 2 minutes.
Take all you need.
Thank you, brother. So I just want to thank Jeremy and the Junior Achievement family for this very special award. Also want to congratulate the other honorees because they are just absolutely fabulous. And I know Alice personally, and she has been fighting for justice well before I even came to New Haven. So congratulations to you all. Yep. Also want to acknowledge the CONCAT and Concord board. I have the great opportunity and distinction of running two organizations at once. CONCAT, which you heard of, and CONCORP, which is our economic development, economic justice organization, doing equally great work in New Haven especially. I want to acknowledge my board chair, Carlton Highsmith, who you heard from and stood up as a laureate. Carlton, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. And also members of our board, Alexis Smith, and I heard Bridget D'Angelo is in here. She is? You know, my late wife was mentioned, who passed on November 3rd, 2020, due to COVID. And this is the first time for me being in a setting like this, receiving an award. And so for all of those who chose to support Junior Achievement by coming here to support me, the handshakes, the hugs, the kisses on the cheek, the pats on the back that you gave me tonight, I truly, truly appreciate it because I needed it tonight. I needed it tonight. Three of my four daughters are here, Kiara, Niall, and Nia. Thank you for being here with Dad. My youngest is a teacher with Teach for America in Baltimore, and she could not be with us. And finally, a lot of all of that was said on film and in words was all about me, and I appreciate the kind words again, Carlton, and those who said very nice things about me and the work that I do and I'm called to do. But with your permission, Jeremy, and the JA family, what I want to do is acknowledge and dedicate my award to the incredible group of people, the most talented, committed, powerful group of people that I get to work with every single day, who, for the most part, every day, instill hope and dreams into communities where those dreams and hopes have been dashed by a system that has created persistent poverty and acts of racism. And poverty, in my opinion, is the most insidious thing ever created. Not racism. Racism is the weapon of poverty. And so what I want to do is dedicate this incredible award to tables 7 and 8, who are the most incredible people I have ever met, and that is the staff of CONCAT and CONCORP. So I'm asking all of you if you can give a round of applause for tables 7 and 8 over there. So again, I thank you all. I thank you, Jeremy, and whoever chose to select me, because I am deeply honored, and I'm going to get out of the way because the clock is 0 and red. So thank you so much.
I mean, I shook his hand. You can feel it. Let's get a picture. You get your picture? You got to get your picture. Oh, you got it. Okay, you took him beforehand. Sorry. I apologize. Who's got the phone? Let's go. Come on now. We know better than that. Listen, if you weren't listening, just to listen to what's said about Corinne, Alice, and Eric, They don't need awards or lights or cameras to do the work they do. They would do it anyway. Just one last round of applause, please, for everybody. Now, before we get to our student speaker, I want to introduce the mayor of Hartford, Luke Bronin. I came back to Connecticut in 2019, and I started to cover Mayor Bronin professionally, and what I've learned is that he's extremely dedicated to his job of leading the city, which he's done a really good job, but he's also a very dedicated father and family man. He does both with equal intensity, and I don't know how. I have 3 teenagers, and it's a whole different host of problems, but he does both jobs incredibly well, and I've appreciated the time he's given us at WTIC, and we all appreciate the time he's giving us tonight. Mayor Bronin.
Thanks so much, Brian. It's so good to be here with you all and great to see this room full. And Brian, I also just want to say thank you for being here because this has got to be late for you. I mean, he's on the radio at 5:30 every morning. So and you're always such a booster of Hartford, and I'm really grateful for that. I wanted to be here for a bunch of reasons. I was a little late tonight because I had to be out at stores earlier. I was not there for the rally. I was there to talk to a bunch of students who are in the special program in law, which I think is just as cool. But I was driving back in, and if you know that drive, there's that moment when you come down the highway and you see the skyline of Hartford. And I think it is a beautiful view. I'm a little biased, but I think it is just a beautiful view coming in. And somebody recently told me that Hartford was a city with the best skyline per capita, which is sort of like a backhanded compliment. But as I was coming in and seeing the skyline and headed here, it reminded me of something that some of you may have heard me say before, but I despite that, will say it again. This is a city where so many kids grow up seeing, not far from them, big office buildings, the Hartford, Travelers, all the towers in the heart of downtown. And they may grow up a mile from those, they may grow up half a mile, they may grow up, literally under the shadow of those buildings. And yet those buildings feel like they are a world away because the gap from where they are in their lives to what happens in those buildings feels unbridgeable. And one of the things that is so powerful about Junior Achievement that I appreciate and admire so much and wanted to be here to celebrate is that in a lot of ways it's about bridging that gap and showing young people wherever they are, whatever their circumstances, that they can build that future. Maybe it's not in one of those office buildings, but the point is that what bridges that gap are people who can be real life, flesh and blood examples of what you can do in your life. And so I want to say to everybody who's involved in Junior Achievement and the staff, the board, everybody who's involved in it, but all the supporters, thank you for that because it really does make a difference. And I don't know if this has already been talked about, but I was sitting at the table looking at this statistics, and this is pretty powerful, that 51% of Junior Achievement students go into the career or industry of their Junior Achievement volunteer. I mean, talk about something that demonstrates the power of having that personal relationship who can show you what's possible. So I really wanted to be here to celebrate that, and I also wanted to be here because those who are being honored tonight are just extraordinary people who have given so much, in a number of the cases, so much to our city here in Hartford and to our region and in others throughout the state. And so to Bob, Allison, Eric, and to Rona, and Joe and Corinne, I just want to say congratulations to you tonight, but most importantly, thank you for what you do every single day, whether it's in behavioral health or in economic development and workforce development or in housing or in arts education. In every one of those spheres, you have changed lives profoundly and made our state stronger. So thank you so much for that. And lastly, I know I missed it earlier, but I just the Greg Baratz as the honoree, the sponsor honoree. Greg does some of the most innovative work any business leader in any company in the area, and often flies under the radar. So I just wanted to give Greg a shout out and a thanks also for the work that he and Hartford Seymour do in our city. So I've probably gone on for too long. Brian, I'm going to pass this mic back to you where it belongs, but let me just close with a huge thank you to everybody who's here tonight, to everybody who supports Junior Achievement, to Junior Achievement for the work that you do, and again, a huge thank you to tonight's honorees. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now, this is sort of the highlight, at least for me, and I asked our special student speaker beforehand, I say, are you ready? He said, absolutely. No hesitation. So, a sophomore at Farmington High School, I want to introduce everyone to JA student Dave Goel.
That's a lot of people. Oh. They got the timer too. All right. Hello everyone, my name is Dave Goyle and I'm a sophomore at Farmington High School. I am honored to have the opportunity to speak in front of such an accomplished crowd. JA provides engaging, academically challenging, and experiential learning sessions that focus on enhanced entrepreneurial education. They create an opportunity for students from diverse communities to come together and develop leadership and teamwork skills. Their programs help students like me make and understand ethical decisions as they enter the workforce and participate in the global community. They also equip students with the understanding of the work readiness skills needed for the 21st century. JA's after-school programs provide an opportunity for students to meet regularly in a corporate environment and to be connected to corporate employees as role models and mentors. My JA experience has been one of a kind. Last year, I participated in a virtual JA program, Steps to Success, Personal Finance. This program taught me how to productively and mindfully manage my money and future finances. This included learning about earning, employment, and income. We also went over budgeting, saving, as well as credit and debt. Finally, at the end, we got the opportunity to speak and ask questions to a panel of finance professionals. Currently, I'm enrolled in the JA Entrepreneurial Program with Stanley Black & Decker. This program has been very interesting and influential in my life over the past few years. I've had the opportunity to meet many new people, from high schoolers from neighboring towns to employees of Stanley Black & Decker, as well as Junior Achievement. Our employee volunteers have educated us on how to be more professional, as well as how to start a business from the ground up, starting with ideation, planning, and selling stock. Through this program, I feel as if my communication skills in a business setting have definitely increased. Unfortunately, this means I am already addicted to checking my email for any updates. In the first few meetings of the JA Entrepreneurial Academy program, we brainstormed issues or a need in society. Then we were taught about the different components of a business, which include financials, products, and marketing. Once we had learned the basics, we were ready to launch our real student company. Hopefully you met our student company before dinner. Our name is True Solar, and we are selling portable solar-powered charging banks for $19.99 each. When we were first getting going, we had an election for company leadership, and I was voted CFO. My responsibilities are mostly keeping track of our finances. One of the perks to this program is that we hold our in-person board meetings at Stanley's campus in New Britain. The second I walked into that swanky conference room, I knew this line of work was something I wanted to do in the future. After presenting to the board members about our great plan, drinking out of fancy bottled water, and inhaling a few cookies, we got an email from our supplier with the quote being much higher in cost than we anticipated. Thankfully, we were able to find an alternate supplier and get our business up and running. I hope you got the chance to purchase some of our products that we were selling earlier, but if not, don't be shy to ask me about it later. If you are not interested in the product but would still like a lucrative investment, I recommend that you buy some shares of our company, as they are only $12 each. You are sure to make a profit. Because of JA, I have also accepted the great opportunity for a KPMG internship this summer. A JA representative shared the application, and I jumped on the opportunity. I made my first resume and showed it to my sibling, who is currently in college. After they finished laughing, they told me it was only supposed to be 1 page long and didn't need to include that I once did lawn work for my neighbor. I fixed and submitted my resume and scheduled my interview. I think I did pretty good for my first ever interview. I was actually prepared for the tell me about yourself question, thanks to everything I learned and experienced with the JA so far. After I found out I made the baseball team, I checked my phone to see a missed call during tryouts from my interviewer. After answering on the 4th ring, she had told me I had gotten the internship. That is how excited I was to hear back. I counted every ring. I proceeded to thank her about 20 times. JA has definitely helped me launch and grow my career and already solidified my interest in business and finance. Who knows, maybe I'll be lucky enough to join the prestigious ranks being honored here tonight. Thank you, JA, and all of the volunteers that have made my experiences so impactful. I know it will be a success thanks to all of you, and congratulations to tonight's deserving honorees.
I think he just got a job offer from Bank of America. I think business is pretty good. He's got a nice set of Jordans on his feet, too. Just so impressive. As someone who has teenagers at home, I mean, they won't get in front of the family to get milk out of the fridge. I mean, that's incredible. Honestly, it's so great. I love it. I love it. That was great, Dave. Next up, 2 more special guests, last year's Hall of Famers, Jeff L. Hubbard and Rich Caparaso. I would like to welcome them to the stage. Now, in the years since, I believe Rich is retired and Jeff was promoted to market president, so both deserve a congrats.
Good to see you. We had to shake hands. I couldn't find Brian in this fabulous crowd earlier. So, hey, if I can put in just one shameless comment. Dev, congratulations on your internship with KPMG. I'm a recently retired KPMG partner. You're going to love the experience. So congratulations. Couldn't resist.
Yes. Congratulations, Dev. It's hard to follow you, by the way. Laureates, as you may know, are inducted into the Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame for their distinguished contributions to the prosperity of the region through their leadership in business and in the community. Rich?
So Jeff, you know, that having been said, it's no surprise that you were inducted as a laureate last year. You have done so much to contribute to the prosperity and the vibrancy of communities all across the state of Connecticut, which we so appreciate. So thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you. I have to admit I stuffed the ballot. Thank you, Rich. I hope you're enjoying retirement.
So actually, I'm very much enjoying retirement, and also at the same time, it's very fulfilling. I frankly feel very blessed. But I will tell you, I have to admit, I miss seeing my friends in the greater Hartford community, so I just so appreciate being back here tonight to see so many friends. And with that said, I'm especially appreciative of being here tonight to, with all of you, honor all of the very special guests that we are acknowledging tonight. I just know how meaningful it was for me last year to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and to join the ranks of so many accomplished business and community leaders. Many, as you now know, are here with us tonight.
It's a thrill, isn't it, pal?
Absolutely is.
This year's laureates are incredibly deserving of tonight's honor. We have 3 unique individuals, each shaping their community and their region in their own ways, from higher education to banking, one of my favorite industries, and of course the law. Speaking of lawyers, it was a thrill this evening to visit with Maureen Cox as we induct her husband, Bob Cox. Bob, welcome to the stage.
Bob's a collector of friends and professional colleagues. He links people together. You're a friend of Bob's, you're going to meet his other friends. Because Bob's focus is getting it done. When I introduce him to one of our clients to close a transaction, I feel extremely comfortable that he's going to get to the finish line. My client's going to be better for the experience. That's a velvet glove approach that Bob takes to our clients, which is very important to me. We've had great success together. I appreciate his interactions with my customers. I can always trust Bob. When I originally met Bob 20 years ago, he was representing me to close on a transaction. We were at the client's office waiting for Bob. Suddenly a limousine pulls up. Bob piles out of the limo with a full leg cast on. He injured his knee in a Little League game. Bob's a giver. He's been a Little League coach in his past, and he hurt himself, but he made it to the closing. It was important to Bob to see it through 20 years ago. It's important to Bob to see it through today. Also, Bob is a part of the New Haven Chamber of Commerce. He's on the board of directors there. He's also on a group called the Regional Leadership Council. So I'd say Bob's a giver. He's a New Haven powerhouse. He is a downtown New Haven guy, lives in New Haven, not far from the Yale Bowl. So he's ingrained. What you may not know about Bob, he's what's called a super lawyer. He's been nominated by his industry association to be called a super lawyer from 2014 to 2022. He's also an accomplished guitar professional. Bob has a few CDs out there. He's a giver. It's years of giving back, it's consistency, it's commitment to Connecticut in general, New Haven specifically. Being part of the Junior Achievement Hall of Fame is a big deal. It's a big deal in every market. Bob, I know, is personally thrilled to be selected.
So, I thought he was going to come right up and speak. It's my fault. I apologize. Bob is a trusted advisor with exceptional legal knowledge, vast experience, and superior analytical skills. An individual who connects with people, builds trust, establishes relationships, and is always on with an enviable level of energy, enthusiasm, and expertise. His style, as many of you probably know, is uniquely Bob, with a deep and abiding commitment to clients, community, and particularly the many nonprofit, legal, and business organizations where he shares his considerable talent. All of them benefit greatly from how he approaches his work and the leadership and perspective he generously provides. Bob's impressive representation is grounded in the law, but goes well beyond that, and he has genuine passion for helping people, never losing sight of the overarching purpose of his efforts to guide people toward resolving challenges and solving problems, both immediate and long-term. With Bob, you get depth and you get breadth. He's an individual who anticipates what's ahead and takes the time to understand, really understand his clients' businesses. He's adept at identifying and seizing opportunities for them. And when any of his colleagues are seeking sage advice, he's often the first person they turn to. The conversation invariably makes a difference. He's approachable, well-respected, an encouraging mentor, and someone to count on who reliably steps up whenever needed. He was once described as being embedded in the community because the volume of community and civic organizations where he shares his talents in order to advance their work. He's engaged, involved, has an impact in so many places and in so many ways. And that's not all. Bob is an avid musician, as you can tell, an expert music historian, another of the many talents that he shares. It's a bonus for everybody. An honor for us tonight for Junior Achievement of Southwest New England to induct Robert Cox into the Business Hall of Fame.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a big thank you to Jeff Hubbard for that fantastic introduction. I cannot tell you what an honor and privilege it is to receive this recognition from Junior Achievement, particularly in light of the incredible work that JA does with so many students in the communities, but also because of the illustrious company that I will now be able to keep with the past recipients of this award. It is a distinguished list, and I'm honored to be part of it. And I also would like to say that given this still somewhat confusing post-COVID world that we're all operating in still, I truly believe that the work Junior Achievement is doing with our children is now even more important than ever, and I urge all of you out there to continue your support of JA at the highest levels. There are a few thank yous that I would like to make, starting with my beautiful and brilliant wife, Maureen, our son. Maureen, you're getting a lot of applause. Our son, Michael, and what I will refer to as Michael's cats. You guys are my grounding, inspiration, stability, and sanity. And for those of you out there who may not know me, stability and sanity does not oftentimes come easily for someone such as myself. And then there is my law firm, Haller & Sage, which has been my professional home and sanctuary for almost 30 years, and I suppose the launching pad for all of this. While Halloran Sage, the organization, has always been super supportive of me. There are a few individuals I would like to recognize. Casey O'Connell, Ken Slater, Ann Catino, Jim Marr, Kenya Rosado, Olivia Albanese, and don't worry, Halloran Sage people, I'm not going to forget Matt Teich and Carol Ortolani, who have moved on to different organizations. I would like to thank each and every one of you for making Halloran Sage a better place every day. And I also would like to think that I lived up to the one and only promise I ever made any of you guys when you came on board, which is that I, and whatever we collaborate on, would never be boring. The show must go on. And finally, there are clients and friends. Some of you are in the audience this evening. For me, the greatest thing about the practice of law is not the law itself. It is you and your individual stories, goals, dreams, aspirations, and for the most part, your unwavering commitment to always move forward, oftentimes in the face of uncertainty, if not adversity. That is what motivates me each and every day to go out and play the game as hard as I can and as well as I can on your behalf. And I thank you for that opportunity. It is truly an honor and privilege. Junior Achievement, Maureen, Michael, and Michael's cats, Halloran Sage, clients and friends, and all of you in the audience tonight, I thank you for this recognition.
Mr. Cox, welcome to the Business Hall of Fame. Next up, Rona Free.
The reason St. Joe's has risen to the heights it has is because of her entrepreneurial skills. People don't think of higher ed as entrepreneurial. It is entrepreneurial. It's all about the entrepreneurial efforts and ideas. This is graduate junior achievement. This is the fruition of starting out something new. She connects with JA, and I connect with JA because it's the basis of our economy, and it's why the United States is so successful, and higher ed is a strong part of it. A great leader is a listener. She is a listener. She's respectful, modest, she's entrepreneurial, and she's a teacher, organized, disciplined. She's frugal. That's an understatement. She is a very good businesswoman. I keep going back to listening, and she absorbs, and if she doesn't know something, or even if she does know it, she wants to hear your opinion. These are characteristics of a team builder. She is empowering this entire team. Her cabinet is exceptional. Very different, all don't agree, but that diversity of thought, people, perspectives, it's highly respected. The results are so obvious to where we are today than where we were 6 years ago when she came to this campus. You look at what this remarkable leader has done. We've gone co-ed. Biggest change in the history of St. Joe's. We would not probably be in existence today had we not gone co-ed. Then our athletic programs. She brought on Jim Calhoun. We're #1 in the country at this moment after 5 years of basketball in Division III. Who's ever heard of that before? Beside that, it's all the other programs and majors. Rona's always thinking about the future. How do we make this campus physically better? What do the students need? Where are the jobs? She's always thinking ahead, never to rest on her laurels.
To know University of St. Joseph President Rona Free is to constantly be amazed by what she can accomplish. She is, as someone once said, a wonder. You don't need to spend more than a moment on the USJ campus to understand why she gets the accolades. Dr. Free has transformed, as we just heard, the entire university, now best described as a small university with big results. Her intellectual ability is obvious from the moment you meet her, but that's only part of who she is and why she's so widely admired. She's passionate, she's a visionary leader, unrelenting in giving students every opportunity to succeed. She's raised standards there, broadened academic offerings, and perhaps the highest compliment of all, she sizes up situations, determines what must be done, navigates the road ahead skillfully, attracting allies along the way, and then proceeds to successfully reach milestone after milestone. Now, there are so many examples, we don't have time for it tonight, and the two best ones might be what was just mentioned in that video, getting Jim Calhoun to come out of retirement, to start that basketball team, which was #1 in the country in Division III for much of this season. It's just incredible. The decision to go co-ed on the undergraduate level are two just incredible examples of the type of vision needed, and in some ways, solving what could have been an existential crisis at the school. These are just a glimpse of how she leads and how consistently impressive the results have been. Rona Free is a president who wins people over with grace and with patience by listening, analyzing, and providing facts. She's persistent, transparent, and determined. Not surprisingly, given her academic and administrative credentials, she does not mind a robust conversation. I had one with her out in the hallway before we came in, and it's definitely true. She's always seeking solutions to move students and the university forward, and her leadership is valued and valuable not only at USJ, but in the higher education community and the local community. It is a privilege for Junior Achievement of Southwest New England to induct Rona Free into the Business Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Brewster. You're amazing. So I was convinced. Hi, Dave. I have my portable charger. But good evening. I'm very honored to be recognized tonight along with such distinguished individuals. We come from different sectors of the economy, but we have in common that our work helps individuals and communities to thrive, just as Junior Achievement does. One of JA's objectives is to promote economic self-sufficiency. As someone who had my first little business venture when I was about 10 years old, giving 25-cent pony rides on my Shetland pony Starlight, financial independence has always been important to me. And it's been rewarding to me for over 40 years at the University of St. Joseph and Eastern Connecticut State University to create opportunities for students to be self-sufficient and financially independent, for students from families and communities that face challenges, or, because fortunes can turn very quickly, for students who come from privilege, developing skill, expertise, work ethic, and an entrepreneurial way of thinking is important. And just as volunteers see this develop in Junior Achievement participants, in college, we see it grow in students every day. Junior Achievement inspires and empowers young people to pursue economic success, to have the skill set and mindset to build thriving communities. At USJ, we do the same. Almost all of our students are in pre-professional programs. They will become part of the essential talent pipeline in the state and region, and they will raise up the well-being of their families and their communities. Our mission at USJ aligns very closely with Junior Achievements. And as Jeremy mentioned before, one of our current initiatives is to work with JA so that high school students who complete their financial literacy and entrepreneurship courses can be awarded credit for designated USJ courses. It would be just one more motivation for JA participants to aim high, plan for college, take an entrepreneurial approach to life, and lay a path to economic success. They may start small, like giving pony rides, but they will be equipped to move on to bigger and better things. I'm truly honored to be recognized by an organization that embodies so many of the goals and values that are important to me. Thank you very much.
Obviously, great leadership is hard to find in so many segments of our economy and our culture, and what Rona's done at University of St. Joseph is extraordinary, the transformation there. So again, nice job. Now, last but not least, our final honoree of the evening, Joe Gianni.
Joe is passionate about this community, having played soccer in the South End, having worked for the Hartford Whalers as his first job. He is dedicated to using Bank of America resources to support the communities, to help build its neighborhoods, and to improve the lives of its citizens. Joe works so hard to build strong relationships and positions of trust, whether it's with tellers in the branches, the Attorney General's office, or local CEOs. He likes people, he supports people, he works side by side with people, whether it's on a Habitat for Humanity project or at the Connecticut Food Bank. In fact, one of Joe's passions is eliminating food insecurity. More than 20 years ago, Joe introduced Turkey Tuesday. His idea was to bring the community together to help ensure that every family had enough food for the holiday season. Joe was naturally drawn to an alliance with Junior Achievement because he feels so strongly about spreading financial literacy. Junior Achievement is the perfect partner for this because they reach so many young people. I believe they reached more than 29,000 students last year. A perfect partner for Bank of America. Joe has given more career advice to individuals than we can count on our fingers and toes. And people value that advice because it's sincere, it's honest, and he truly does want to help people.
Joe, as many of you know, is a storyteller, but he much prefers listening to your story. Banking is focused on finances, but for Joe, the point is the people. Whether you're a corporate customer, a CEO, or a local retail worker, if Joe can help, he will help, and he does it without hesitation. It's no surprise that Bank of America has made him synonymous with their brand in Greater Hartford. You know, some of you may remember the advertising slogan the city used for a while, "Hartford has it." Well, Joe really believes that. With every ounce of his being. He's lived here forever. He's an enthusiastic advocate. He's an inspiring leader, someone who pays attention to detail, but more importantly, pays attention to you. He asks questions because he's truly interested in the answers. He stands behind the words that we see in the bank's full-page ads, and he's earned the admiration of colleagues throughout the entire industry. Joe is well-prepared, open to ideas, charismatic and curious, respectful and upbeat. He's a decisive leader, always ready to go the extra mile, literally and figuratively. I guess he's run a few marathons in his day. If you ask Joe Gianni when he was younger, when he worked in the Whalers ticket office, which you just learned from that video, or maybe when he thought about an acting career, if he could envision the career path that ensued, he probably would have looked at you with a blank face. But here we are. He worked diligently and led effectively at every rung on the ladder, the genuine good guy that everyone knows him to be. His secret ingredient, it's not really a secret. People like to work with Joe. Joe Gianni has earned a place in the Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame not only because of what he does, but because of who he is. Congratulations, Joe, and welcome to the Junior Achievement Southwest New England Business Hall of Fame.
I'd love to have a walk-up song. That's great. You know? Wow. Holy moly. So, my wife said that I'm the thing that stands between you and a good night's sleep. So first of all, congratulations to all the other honorees. I'm not quite sure how I snuck in compared to all that each of you have done and continue to do for our communities across the state. I am so grateful for this honor, but please know it's not about me. This is about my family, my friends, and my 2,600 teammates at Bank of America in Connecticut who provide inspiration and guidance on the importance of spending time in service to others. Some of you may have heard me say this before, but I began my financial career with Merrill Lynch. I left it, went to CBT, which became Bank of New England, and that failed, and went to the FDIC, whose assets were bought by Fleet, which merged with Shawmut, and then with Bank Boston, and then Bank of America. And then to complete the circle, Bank of America acquired Merrill Lynch in 2008. So the sincere thing about all that, despite all that change, despite all that expansion, my experience has been throughout that entire period, our purpose has remained the same, and that's to make a difference in the financial lives of our clients and our communities. And it starts with leadership. And I have been blessed that I've worked for amazing leaders in my career. Two of them are JA Business Hall of Famers. In 1998, Eileen Krause, who's no longer with us, but her husband Hal is here tonight. Thank you, Hal. And 2007 Hall of Famer Susan Rotner. Susan, thank you for those kind comments on the video. Over the past 5 years, the 2,600 Bank of America teammates in Connecticut have contributed 135,000 volunteer hours. Additionally, contributions by employees, not the corporation, that's a separate pot of money, but our own employees giving to local nonprofits over the past 5 years has been $4.3 million. Speaking of volunteering, 2 weeks ago I participated in a JA Volunteer Day at Breakthrough Magnet School South in Hartford. By the way, it's celebrating its 25th anniversary next month. And my part of the class was describing wants and needs. So if you've never done a JA class, you get in front of the class, and this was first graders, and I said, okay, what are some things that families would like to have? And first, Carlos raised his hand and said, toys. I said, that's a good answer. And then Michael raised his hand and he said, pets. And I said, well, that's a good answer too. He said, I have a pet. I have a dog and a parrot. And I said, well, that's an interesting combination. And then another, I think it was Mary, rose her hand and said, I have a dog and a parrot. And I said, well, that's interesting. And then someone else raised their hand and she said, I have a cat and a parrot. And I'm saying, well, that's dangerous. But then I thought, there's some remarkable parrot salesman out there in Hartford that I got to meet. So then I went to needs, and that's something that families must have to live. And we talked about shelter, we talked about food, we talked about water. And then Geneva, who had been quiet this entire period, raised her hand. And I said, Geneva, what's something that families must have to live? And she said, love. And throughout the ages, prophets, poets, and pop stars have always told us, all you need is love. But when you hear it from a 6-year-old girl in a first grade class, it affirms that you get so much more out of volunteering than whatever time you put into it. In that spirit, I have a message that I love. It was an ad written by Bill Kerr in 1978 that appeared in the Wall Street Journal for United Technologies and for Harry Gray, again, a 1987 JA Hall of Famer, and I've kept it in my desk, and tonight I'll share it with each of you. It's titled, Do You Remember Who Gave You Your First Break? Someone saw something in you once that's partly why you are here today. It could have been a thoughtful parent, a perceptive teacher, an appreciative employer, or just a friend who dug down in his pocket and came up with a few bucks. Whoever it was, they had the kindness and the foresight to bet on your future. Those are two beautiful qualities that separate the human being from the orangutan. In the next 24 hours, take 10 minutes to write a grateful note to the person who helped you. You'll keep a wonderful friendship alive. Matter of fact, take another 10 minutes to give somebody else a break. Who knows? Someday, you might get a nice letter. It could be one of the most gratifying messages you ever read. On behalf of Bank of America, I'm truly grateful for this honor. I love you all. Have a great night.
Turns out I'm the one who's standing in the way of a good night's sleep. So I'll try to be brief. I just want to give one more last round of applause to all of our Hall of Fame inductees. One more special guest. Jay Booth, VP, Controller, and Chief Accounting Officer at Eversource, and JA's Board Chair. Jay will be sharing a few final remarks before we close out for the evening. And I had a wonderful time being here with you tonight, and it was awesome. And all the honorees, you guys are amazing. So thank you very much.
Okay, so it turns out I'm the last guy that's going to stand between you. So I have a few prepared remarks here. It shouldn't be more than 40 minutes, so we'll be good. So look, didn't Brian do a great job tonight? Yeah. Look, I think I speak for everybody when I say, look, we'd love to have you back next year, every year after that. It'd just be fantastic. So awesome. On behalf of the board, I'd also like to congratulate tonight's honorees, Corinne, Alice, Eric, Bob, Rona, and Joe. It's really been an honor to share your stories this evening. Hope and inspiration is what our young people need, and tonight's honorees, pillars of the community and role models for the next generation, are encouraging students to work hard and build better futures for themselves. I hope, too, that you're inspired by Jay's recent transformation to making an impact our number one priority. It's truly, as Jeremy kind of highlighted, it's truly an exciting time to be involved, and I hope you'll join us on the journey with Junior Achievement to bring meaningful, lasting, and a big impact to thousands of students this year and each year going forward. So thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. God bless. Take care.